Okay, so good morning once again. So we'll start with the basic fiber optic link. So now here the question is fiber optic link we are discussing. That means what? It is not with respect to the connector. So it is something like linking the cable from transmitter side to the receiver side. So when you are linking the fiber from transmitter to receiver, what are the different types of things which are coming to existence? Connectors will come, optic cable will come, splicing we have to do. Okay, all this comes into picture. So now when you see this particular diagram, I can see that there is a transmitter and there is a receiver. So between the transmitter and receiver there is a cable. So now if the transmitter and receiver distance is more, so do you think that one cable is enough? No. So we may have to use the connectors. Okay. So we may have to use the splicing. Okay. So all these things will come into picture. Please make a note of it. Basic fiber optic link. So now the signal. Okay. Here what do you call for that? Rectangular wave we have taken. Okay. Pulse we have taken at the input side. So that particular signal is being transmitted, or else it is sent to the transmitter. So in the transmitter part, you can able to see that it is an electrical to optical conversion is also happening. So there is a block. Okay, there is a block. After the block, there is, you can see that there is a optical generator is there. Okay. So now that particular LED or laser we can use. So now in that particular block, after that one, it is emitting the light energy. So once it is emitting the light energy, you can see that the blue line, it is starting from the inside of the transmitter. So now that particular blue line indicates that it is an axis of passing the light signal. That particular blue line, okay, after the transmitter is coming, there is a cable, okay, there is a connector we are going to use. So it is just the indication that, so in the communication process by using the optical cable, so we are going to use the connectors because we need to join the two cables or more than two cables, not in the same place but in subsequent places. So connectors we may have to connect. So cable will be there. So splicing is a technique. I'm going to explain what is fiber splicing and all because there are different methods and fiber splicing also. So that we are going to discuss in the today class. So connector part we have discussed like fiber, different types of connectors. Okay, butt joint connector. Okay, so all those connector types and all we have extended beam connectors. So all those types and all we have discussed. So today class mainly we will focus on fiber splicing and some other things like fiber alignment, joint losses and all we are going to discuss. So now please make a note of it. So obviously when the transmitter is sending the signal, so connected by using all these things, it will come to the receiver side. So when it comes to the receiver side, it will be an optical signal. So now we can see that there is a one more diode block is there. So that means what, it will detect the optical signal and the detected optical signal will get transformed into the electrical signal. So once it gets transformed into the electrical signal, so we are going to use that. So now when you see the received signal and the transmitted signal, in the received signal there is a some amount of portion is being added with noise. So that is what, see, whatever the communication process you take, there will be some little amount of noise will be added, little amount of attenuation will happen, little amount of distortion will definitely happen. So there is nothing like ideal communication. So one cannot achieve the ideal communication. Clear? So this is the basic fiber optic link what we have in the syllabus. Please make a note of it, all of you. So hope you have taken this one. We'll move on to the next slide. So here we'll discuss about optical fiber joints. Okay. So here, what is the necessity of optical fiber joints? What are the features and what are the parameters to be considered while considering the optical fiber joints? So the technical requirement for both jointing and termination of transmission media. So this particular fiber optic joints are the technical requirements for the both jointing and termination of transmission media. So here are the number of joints or connections when we are discussing. So it depends on some of the parameters. So what are the different parameters we are going to see is the link length between the repeaters. The first thing, you can make a note of it. That is the link length between the repeaters, continuous length of the fiber, the length of fiber cable practically or conventionally installed as continuous length. So here the link between the repeaters is something like how far, like 1 kilometer apart if you are keeping the repeater, that is the link between the repeater. So continuous length of the fiber means sometimes we may not require the repeaters. At that time, how long the length of the fiber is present. The third thing is what length of the fiber cable practically or conventionally installed as a continuous length. So that means what sometimes what will happen, we ourselves will consider that number of like from one end to another end, we will only install some will take 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 multiple fibers we will take, and once we take the multiple fibers, so we use the optical connectors. Okay, so we make them 3 to 4 fibers as a one fiber. So if we make that, so that will also be considered as length of the fiber cable. Okay, so that is the difference between continuous length of the fiber and length of the fiber cable practically or conventionally installed as a continuous length. So now when we're talking about the repeater spacing, okay. So when we're talking about the repeater spacing, a continuously increasing parameter. So this particular repeater spacing is a continuously increasing parameter. So technically, so it ranges from repeater spacing ranges from 40 to 60 kilometer at 400 megabits per second. So if you are using 100 kilometer, it will be 2.4 gigabits per second. So if you are using like 300 kilometer, okay, so 1.7 to 10 GB per second. So that means what we have sophisticated things. So when we are using that particular repeater spacing the length of the fiber with an high sophistication. So if we are using for a small range like 40 to 60 kilometers, we will stick on to the what you call bit rate for 400 megabits per second. So if you are going for higher end 2.4 gigabits per second, we will have the good fibers. So that fiber spacing required is 100 kilometer. So when you are going for still more sophisticated, then we will go for 1.7 to 10 GB per second. 10 GB per second is technically we can say that downloading 8 movies per second. So that much amount of speed will be there. So if your repeater spacing is 300 kilometer, so we need to have the 1.7 to 10 GB per second. So in the other way, if you are trying to understand, okay, so if we are sending the signal at 400 bits per second, so we require the repeater spacing of 40 to 60 kilometer. So if we are sending the signal at 2.4 GB per second, so we require the spacing of 100 kilometer. So if we are sending the signal at around 1.7 to 10 GB per second, then we require the repeater spacing of 300 kilometers. So by this particular thing, you can understand that. So if your signal strength is very high, so the propagation distance and repeater requirement resistance can be extended. That is what exactly the understanding. So next slide, if you are seeing, I can make a note of it. So last slide, I'll give you 1 minute. Please make a note of it, this one, all of you. So please make a note of it, all of you. 5 optical fiber joints. So the number of joints or connections depends on link length between repeaters, continuous length of fiber, the length of fiber cable practically or conventionally installed as continuous length. So repeaters are spacing. So this particular parameter you can add it. So we'll move on to the next thing. So fiber joints. So now there are 3 types of fiber joints, that is the source fiber, fiber to fiber, and fiber to detector joints. So that means what 3 places we require the joints. So obviously when we are trying to transmit a signal, okay, so from the source, that means what, from the optical source, see this optical source will be the source of energy. So from there you want to take out the energy. So once you are going to take out the energy, that energy will be taken into the fiber cable. So there should be definitely one particular fiber joint to be made at the source fiber. Fine. So now fiber to fiber, where it comes? So when the signal is passing, so what exactly happens? From one fiber to another fiber, there will be 10 to 15 fibers we may use. So between the one fiber to another fiber, we require a joint because we cannot manufacture, and it is not advisable to manufacture very long length fiber also. Okay, so from one fiber to another fiber, if we are joining, giving a joint, it is called fiber to fiber joint. The third thing is what? At the end, the fiber to detector, because at the destination we need to receive the signal. So when we are receiving the signal, so fiber to detector we need to use. So when we are using the fiber to detector use, okay, so these are 3 various fiber joints we can have: the source fiber, fiber to fiber, fiber to detector. So here manufacturers supply electro-optical devices, that is the sources and detectors with optic pigtail. Okay, we say that it is a pigtail to facilitate direct fiber-fiber connection. So manufacturers supply electro-optical devices because they should be a conversion from electrical to optical and optical to electrical. So now when we are talking about source to fiber and fiber to detector, there is no problem. Okay, we can manage and we can easily do the things. But here the concept comes here. The important aspect is fiber to fiber connection with low loss and minimum distortion. That is the important thing we need to have. So here the important aspect is fiber to fiber connection. So now fiber to source and source fiber to detector is not a problem. Why? Because that is just a one connection, and that connection is a mandatory and will take care most of the care. But when we are talking about fiber to fiber communication, what exactly happens is fiber to fiber, the fiber may be in the underground, fiber may be in the duct, fiber may be in the air. So the presence of the area is different. So that is the problem. But when you are talking about the source and detector, so one person is sending the signal, so you will be taking care of source. One person is receiving the signal, you will be taking care of detector. That is not a concern. And most of the things what will happen, fiber to fiber connection, here the attenuation may happen. That is the thing. So that is why we need to have the clear Okay. Important aspect is fiber to fiber communication with low loss and minimum distortion. So this particular aspect we need to consider and we need to get it done. So here are two major categories of fiber joints. So fiber splices and fiber connectors. So here permanent or semi-permanent joints. So what do you mean by fiber splicing? So this particular fiber splicing means, so it is nothing but the permanent or semi-permanent joints. Okay. So sometimes what exactly happens is we will take the two cables, two optical fibers, and we will connect them and we'll make it connected. So that is a permanent connection if you are making, that is also fine. And semi-permanent, that means what, after some days of usage we are going to remove it. That is called as semi-permanent. But what is the method we are going to use? So we are going to use soldering. So soldering is a permanent. So you know that. So soldering is what? It is a fixed. So permanently fixing. So desoldering if you are doing, so it will be considered as semi-permanent joints. So fiber splicing. So that means what? It is something like you people in the lab and all you people have seen it. So if you want to connect one thing to another, what you will do? You will take two things, two metal, and you are going to join by using the technique called what? Soldering. So here also same thing will be employed. So if you do that one, it is called what? Fiber splicing. So it is giving the permanent or semi-permanent joints. So you can make a note of it. Fiber splices, permanent or semi-permanent joints. Okay. So fiber connectors. So your fiber connectors, when you are talking about, it is something like they are demountable or removable joints. Demountable or removable joint. So for example, here how we are demounting and removable joints we are using is, so using the plugs or sockets. Okay, plugs and sockets when you are using, it is called what? Fiber connectors. So soldering method if you are employing, so it is called what? Fiber splicing. So these fiber splicers and fiber connectors are the two major categories of fiber joints. The two methods of fiber joints. So a fiber couplers. Okay, when I'm talking about next terminology, fiber couplers. So fiber couplers means these are nothing but the branching devices. So in the last semester, you people have studied that maybe in the A6 semester, Advanced Digital Communication Lab. Okay. So maybe in the last semester only, I think. So you people were using that optical couplers. Okay. So all the isolators and all we people are studying. So with respect to the optical energy, if you are studying, those are called as what? Optical couplers, optical isolators, optical things. Okay. So here fiber couplers are nothing but the branching devices. So here for in the particular branching devices, we have two things, that is splitters or combiners, and we need to see the importance of these things in the networks. So splitters as well as combiners are the two major things in the branching devices. Okay. So here in the diagram, okay, in the down there is a diagram. You can see that one signal is coming as a input and multiple signals are going out as a output. That is called what? Splitters. That is called what? Splitters. So combiners means what? Just a reverse process. So many signals are coming in and it will make it as a one particular signal. It is something like a multiplexing. Okay, n is to 1 multiplexing. See, however we want, we cannot do the things. So there should be a one particular logic So that particular logic will be multiplexing and demultiplexing concept 10:1. So we can choose 1, we can choose 2, we can choose 4:1, 8:1, 16:1 like that. So we can also choose like 1:2, 1:4, 1:8, 1:16 like that. So we cannot have 1:5. Okay. So that's how the electronic devices have been configured. So you can make a note of it, all of you, fiber couplers. So these are nothing but branching devices. So in the branching devices, we can have a splitters or combiners. The splitter means what and combiner means what, you can see that. And you can make a note of it, all of you. So I'll give you 1 minute of time. Please make a note of it. Because these are the important questions they will be asking in the examination. Like explain fiber couplers and all they will be asking. So at that particular point of time, you need to answer it properly with respect to the diagram and all. Okay. So once it is done, please tell me. So I hope that you people have taken this one. We'll move on to the next concept. So now here the crucial aspect of fiber joints concerning is the optical losses associated with the connection. So this particular thing one has to take care. That is crucial aspect of fiber joints concerning optical losses associated with the connection. So this is called about fiber alignment. Okay. So when we're talking about optical losses, so here we'll discuss like loss mechanism at the joints. So in the fiber joints loss mechanism, how exactly the losses are going to happen and all we'll discuss. The first one you take down, that is Fresnel reflection. Take the thing, that is Fresnel reflection. So in this particular Fresnel reflection, that means it is optical losses encountered at the interfaces. So what I mean by interfaces? Even when two fiber ends are smooth, perpendicular to the fiber axis and perfectly aligned, so we will have some amount of losses which are encountered at the interfaces. That is called what Fresnel reflection. Please make a note of it. So once we get the interfaces, what exactly happens? A small proportion of light may be reflected back into the transmitting fiber, causing attenuation at the joint. So here what exactly happens when the when some amount of energy is moving, so when some little part of the energy is getting reflected, that means what? Some amount is going to be lost. So that is called what attenuation is. So when this particular process happens, a small portion of light may be reflected back into the transmitting fiber, causing the attenuation at the joint. It is called what? Fresnel reflection. It is called what? Fresnel reflection. Please make a note of it. So this particular diagram indicates the Fresnel reflection, how it is going to happen. So first you take this particular two sentences. Later we can see the diagram. Okay. So once you take this one, we'll see the diagram. So this diagram, you please make a note of it. So in this diagram, we can able to see that there are two fibers, that is fiber 1 and fiber 2. So these two fibers have been joined together. So once it is being joined together by using some connectors and all. So however you do it, okay, however possible way of best connection you do it, there will be some little amount of air gap will be present. Okay, because it is not a ISO, it is not like a homogeneous mixture we cannot achieve. So there will be a little amount of air gap will be there. So that air gap, what will happen when the signal is passing from fiber 1 to fiber 2, the most of the part will be going to the fiber 2. So here one air gap, that means what in the gap, okay, before at the interface of the gap, some little amount of energy may get reflected back. That's the first thing. Second thing is what, when the signal is entered in the air gap and it is moving in the fiber 2, there also some little amount of energy is reflecting back. So there may be two things, two times, okay, two possibilities of reflecting the signal back into the fiber 1 itself. So when this thing happens, we are going to lose some part of the energy from fiber 1 to fiber 2. So this part is called as what? Interfacing. It is the loss due to the interface reflection. Okay, so here it occurs due to the step changes in refractive index at the jointed interface. So glass between, that is fiber 1 is made up of glass, fiber 2 is made up of glass. So in between fiber 1 and fiber 2 there is a small air gap. So I can say that the glass, air, glass. So this particular glass, air, glass interface will cause some amount of reflection. Okay. So one is what, glass to air, and another one is what, air to glass. So two times the reflection is going to happen. So two times losses we are going to observe. Okay, so this is what exactly happens. Please make a note of it, all of you. So this diagram, Fresnel reflection, this particular process is called about Fresnel reflection. So glass is having one refractive index, air is having another refractive index. So when this particular refractive index changes are there, so we are going to lose some part of the energy in the form of dispersion, in the form of reflection, in the form of some radiation, etc. Please make a note of it, all of you. So once you're done with this, so we will move on to the next thing. So here the fraction of light reflected at a single interface, okay, that is R equal to n1 minus n divided by n1 plus n to the power of 2, that is square. So where n1 is the refractive index of core, n is the refractive index of the medium. So here I am telling that core to air and air to core. That means what, air is the one medium we have taken. Air is considered as the refractive index n, and the glass fiber core is considered as refractive index n1. So n1 means refractive index of core, and n is refractive index of interfacing medium. So interfacing medium, if you have taken water, if you have taken something else, then the refractive index is varying. But when it taken as air, it is equal to 1. So here the fraction of light reflected. So that particular fraction of light reflection is given by R. R is equal to the formula n1 minus n divided by n1 plus n whole square. So now fraction of light reflected we have seen in terms of R. So loss in terms of decibel, okay, due to the Fresnel reflection. FR indicates here Fresnel reflection. Okay, so write down loss in decibel due to FR at single interfaces is given by the loss suffix Fresnel FRES, that is equal to minus 10 log base 10 of 1 minus R. 1 minus R. Please make a note of this particular equation, all of you. So these equations are very important. Please make a note of it, all of you. So once you write this one, so now we want to reduce this particular losses. So when we want to reduce this particular losses, what can be done? The first thing is what interfaces are there, no? So if we are matching the interfaces properly, then we can reduce the losses. So how to reduce that particular interfaces losses is, so this particular losses can be reduced to very low level by using the index matching fluid. So index matching fluid means we'll manufacture some glass fluid. Okay. So if you insert that particular glass fluid in the joints and all, so that particular fluid will be having the refractive index which is same as like glass. So that air gap will be filled by this particular matching fluid. So then the interfaces loss, the reflection at the interfaces will not occur. So in the interfaces at the reflection is not the interface reflection at the interface is not occurring. So we are going to reduce the loss. So that is why you can say that with this particular loss can be reduced to very low level by using index matching fluid in the gap between the jointed fibers. So after this, we'll move on to the next thing, that is the second problem. Okay, the first thing is what the loss mechanism when you're talking about. The first thing is what Fresnel reflection. The second thing is deviation in geometrical and optical parameters. So here when the deviations are there in the geometrical and optical parameters, definitely so there is some loss which is going to happen. So please take the heading. Second major category of loss mechanism are deviation in geometrical and optical parameters. So take the heading deviation in geometrical and optical parameters. So please take the diagrams all of you. I'll give you a minute of time. So now we are deviation in geometrical and optical parameters. So now here when you see the figure A and figure B and figure C, okay. So in the figure A, you can clearly say that there is a mismatch in the core, because when the two fibers, when we are choosing to give the connection for continuation, so obviously two fibers of equal configuration, if the core diameter is changing, then you cannot make it happen. Okay, so that is a common simple understanding that the first problem in the geometry is core mismatch, that is explained in the, that is denoted in the figure number A. So next thing is what? In the figure number B, we can say that even though we choose the fiber of same configuration, your numerical aperture is mismatching. That means what? Acceptance angle. So that particular formula, so your core and cladding things are there. So your core refractive index, cladding refractive index are both changed, but the diameter of the core is same. Even then, there is a mismatch. We can say the wave will not get propagated. Core diameter, cladding diameter, core refractive index, cladding refractive index, and core diameter both should be matching. If any one is not matching, then we cannot go with this particular connection. The third thing is the index profile, same thing. So core refractive index, cladding refractive index should be matching. If there is a slight change, then also we cannot able to achieve the proper communication. So because of this particular mismatch of mechanical dimensions, so we get the deviation of the signal. So please make a note of it. All light from one fiber is not transmitted to another because of mismatch of mechanical dimension. So this particular things are caused by three major categories, that is core mismatch, numerical aperture mismatch, and index profile mismatch. That particular things are explained or just denoted by the diagrams. So the diagrams are self-explanatory. So if you just write these things and beside that these headings and one or two sentences of your own, that is more than enough. Please make a note of it, all of you. So this diagram don't neglect, but I need to write this particular diagrams. The one who write the diagram and explanation will get full marks, and the one who write the just explanation, so you will get nearly 60% of the marks. So please make a note of it. So after that, We'll see the next type of losses is intrinsic losses. So when you're talking about the intrinsic losses, this particular intrinsic losses will occur from the Fresnel reflection and deviation in geometrical and optical parameters. So what are the concepts we have discussed so far? So these two topics, but these particular two concepts will cause us the intrinsic losses, we can say. And to avoid this one, to avoid this particular losses, we can use the minimized. These losses can be minimized using fibers manufactured with low tolerance, with lowest tolerance. So your lowest tolerance means what? There is no tolerance at all. That means what exactly the requirement it should be fulfilled. Okay, so that is what exactly the requirement. So when you take care of all these things, you will get a less losses. This can be minimized using fibers manufactured with lowest tolerance.